Okay, so quick trade recap. I just talked about it in the live, but I'm going to talk about it here so I have it journaled for myself via video. So, first things first, I came into today full knowing that we could end up having a choppy, ranging day, or at least morning. All right? And as you can see, that's what we've had. Price action is definitely unfavorable right now. The trading conditions are not very good, and we chopped around. That being said, I entered because my trading plan was present. My model was there, everything lined up, and I was not breaking any rules by entering the trade. I can put a check on my box today. Check off the day that I followed my trading plan. So technically this is quote unquote a good trading day. However, there's a lesson to be learned in every loss. Okay? And the lesson to be learned with this one is the fact that although my model showed up, that does not necessarily mean I should be taking the trade. I know trading is the hardest thing in the fucking world. It really is. Mentally, it is the most difficult thing you will ever try. And the reason being, it can be a mindfuck at times. Yes, I want to execute always when I see my model. But I want to execute always when I see my model in favorable trading conditions. And today, we didn't have favorable trading conditions, and I came into today saying that. It's not like I was unaware that we could potentially chop around today. I said in the live before 9:30 open, I said today could be a choppy day because we have CPI tomorrow, and we were on the daily here. You can see the previous 2 days of price action. We are accumulating after a big leg up. So I knew that today could be unfavorable, but I didn't care because I saw my model, and I think there's a lesson in that. Yes, I want to always execute when I see my model, but there's a caveat there, and it's if price action is favorable, if conditions are favorable for price to make a move towards a draw. I think today is a bit more of a seek and destroy day that I entered in on here. Unfavorable price action that I just paid the price for. And that's fine. Look, at the end of the day, it's a good lesson to learn. Yes, I want to execute when I see my model, and I don't want to hesitate, right? And I didn't hesitate here. But if price action is unfavorable, which I can do a pretty good job of assessing because I've seen a lot of price action, then I don't care if my model's showing up. I just leave the charts. Goodbye. See you later, right? Because you can see it here today. I mean, my model is here. I'll show you what I entered in off of. So obviously, yes, conditions in the higher time frame were bullish, right? Obviously, we're trending higher. One thing I want to make note of, though, is the fact that we did take this previous weekly high on like Sunday night. So as far as like, yes, we do want to go higher, but as far as targets, we don't really have many targets to the upside because we're at all-time highs. Previous weekly high was taken. Really, the only target to the upside that we have is the previous daily high. So I just want to make that clear. But what we did here was we swept liquidity, swept buy side, and traded into a 4-hour bearish fair value gap as well as a 1-hour bearish fair value gap. And it looks really nice on the 1 hour here, but we swept liquidity, higher time frame PDA array. Okay, check. What do I need now? Well, I need a obvious draw on liquidity. Okay, well, these equal lows are fairly obvious. Okay, what do I need after that? Well, I need distribution for my entry. Well, what do we get? This is the sweep. Beautiful distribution. Entered off of a 2-minute fair value gap right here. And then, as you can see, we ended up just chopping around after. and I got out like somewhere here for a loss of, let me check, for a loss of 340. You know, losing's part of the game. If I'm gonna take a loss, this is a loss I'd want to take, because I followed my trading plan. I don't regret taking myself out of the trade either, because obviously you can see it didn't hit my stop loss, but I'm not going to sit in this. It was draining my mental capital, and typically when shit like this happens, it's not going to go in your favor. So I'm not upset with the fact that we're now trading lower. In hindsight, I just shouldn't have entered, but I executed off my model, so it's not a bad trade. Again, just put more importance in price conditions. I wasn't oblivious to the fact we could chop around today. Even though I was aware that it could definitely happen and the conditions were favorable for chop, I still entered because I saw my model, and I think that was wrong of me. In the future, if I believe price conditions are unfavorable, I mean, this is the whole reason I don't trade during news event, or on news days. I don't trade on news days. I don't trade on bank holidays like yesterday. My models could show up on those days, but I'm not trading because I think price conditions for me are unfavorable. Well, this is the same thing. I know we didn't have a news event today, so technically I could trade, but it's the same principle. It's like, yes, my model showed up today, and it could show up on news days. It does all the time. But I came into today saying that we could chop around, so leave price be. If that's what I'm feeling, probabilities aren't there for price to, go in one direction, then I leave it be. So that's my analysis. That's my recap on the day. Losses happen, right? They're unavoidable. But we're going to try, we try to learn from losses. We don't get fed up with them. And I definitely think there's something to learn from this one. So, in a way, I'm happy. It's a good trading day regardless. I followed my trading plan, but I'm happy I entered in this because I really, my analysis afterwards, I think has really helped me. Genuinely, I think that was a solid comparison, right? The fact that I won't trade on news days, even though my model will show up. Well, why trade today if I felt that conditions were unfavorable? It's the same principle. Just because there wasn't news on the day. So, yeah, that's the trade recap. Tomorrow I won't be trading because CPI. And then the rest of the day, or the rest of the week, I can trade. So I will be back on Thursday and Friday to trade. We'll see if anything presents itself on those days.